Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Sitting in for Pinky Webb, I'm Ria Tanjuatco-Trillo. Today on the program, the Senate is set to pass the Maharlika Investment Fund bill this week after President Bongbong Marcos certified the controversial proposal as urgent. But will it go smoothly since some senators want more time to study the controversial proposal? Senate Minority Leader Koko Pimentel joins us live. And later, we get an update on the Filipino cyclists who were injured in a hit-and-run incident in Kuwait. Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Eduardo De Vega tells us more later on in the show. The Senate is expected to approve the proposed Maharlika Investment Fund bill within the week before Congress adjourns for a 2-week break. President Bongbong Marcos earlier certified the controversial proposal to create a sovereign wealth fund as urgent. The bill is expected to face opposition from the minority. Let's go straight to the source of the story. Senate Minority Leader Senator Koko Pimentel. Senator, good morning.
Good morning, Ria, and to all of your viewers and listeners. Magandang umaga po.
Sir, let's begin with the Maharlika Investment Fund bill. Your colleague in the Senate, Senate President Mig Zubiri, said that it'll most likely pass by the end of the week, but some senators still have a lot of concerns and questions over the proposal. Why do you think there's such a rush to pass this Maharlika bill?
Oh, that is what escapes me, Ria, no? So this proposal is supposed to be daw for the benefit of the Filipino people, not only the present generation, but of future generations of Filipinos. So what is the rush? Diba? Para pala yan sa apo ko sa apo ko sa tuhod Pag-aralan natin mabuti. We have to study this half-baked measure, which this inherently confused measure, better. We need more time to study.
Right. Now, on the president's part, he certified the bill as urgent, saying there is a compelling need for a sustainable national investment fund. Do you agree with that? I mean, what for you would constitute a compelling need?
There is no compelling need. Actually, if you notice the earlier pronouncements of the president as well as the proponents, they were talking about a sovereign that change their nomenclature, the way they change their words, the way they call this fund. They now call it a national investment fund. It's no longer a sovereign wealth fund because the legislators, the senators who are expected to approve this latest version must be given time to study because it has changed a lot. Hindi na po to sovereign wealth fund dati. O tignan, basta mga kababayan, use the internet to research, look at old or past footages, and you will see that they were referring to this measure as a sovereign wealth fund. It's no longer a sovereign wealth fund. This now allows government to partner with private investors, and then the private investors can be Filipinos and can be foreigners. So this cannot qualify as a sovereign wealth fund. So they have changed a lot of things, and then the bill being discussed in the Senate passes a lot of details to the body, to the corporation to be created through the issuance of an implementing rules and regulations. So that is bad practice because we do not know the final look and the final structure and the final way that it will be governed, because we are delegating a lot of things to the board to the writing of the implementing rules and regulations. So that is bad practice which we should not allow.
Right. So you're saying, Senator, na basically this version of the bill is saying the corporation or the body that will oversee the fund can actually make the rules around it.
Correct. Actually, there is an advisory board that powers as it may grant itself. What kind of a bill is that? So if we see that the bill is the result of confusion, the bill is the result of changing the original plan and delegating a lot of things to the body to be created. We should not allow that, because we do not, the legislators, when we approve this, not see what the final form of this body that we are approving, what its final powers are, how it will be governed. So this is a very dangerous thing. And then this is not our fault. This came from the administration. This came from the original proponents. They have been changing their minds a lot of times. Now I hear that there are still proposed amendments coming from the same group, the same team which drafted this latest Senate version. So, and then they will propose it today, and then they want these amendments, the final bill, to be approved today. So we should not allow this kind of rush, Ria. And I appeal to the Filipino people now to help us pressure our legislators, including the senators, that at least we should not rush this kind of a bill, which will involve billions of pesos supposed to be invested or gambled with an assurance of high returns to benefit the present generation and the future generation of Filipinos. So if that is the entire story, give us time, give us more time to study the final proposal.
Right. Okay, so the body that you're talking about here, of course, is the Maharlika Investment Corporation. Do you think a body like that could become a super GOCC? And what would its impact be on the powers of Congress if it's creating the IIR around the fund and lawmakers don't even know what that looks like? What's its impact?
That's correct. The term super GOCC is also the term I used to refer to this Maharlika Investment Corporation. Originally, they gave it all exemptions from all the safeguard laws and all the other important laws. But at least the Senate version removed some of the exemptions. But you would wonder why GOCC is given all of these exemptions. And then, yes, delegating the authority to finalize the look of the corporation and the other details through the IRR is an undue delegation of legislative power, because there is no standard. We are not providing them with any guidance. Para saan ba yan? And then, but one very serious implication budget process, Ria, because the corporation and the fund is supposed to fund mega or big-ticket infrastructure projects, meaning to say that the proponents of this measure would rather that a 9-member appointed, not elected, board of directors meeting behind closed doors in a conference room with locked doors be the ones to decide mega big-ticket infrastructure expenditures rather than Congress, yung Congress House of Representatives and the Senate, who are elected by the people, who meet openly with people in attendance, covered by the media, sometimes live streamed pa. So we are going to be replaced when it comes to big-ticket infra projects. The proponents want to replace Congress with a 9-member unelected appointed board.
Now, your other colleague in the Senate, Senator Cheese Escudero, he's been questioning how the Maharlika Investment Fund can actually generate revenues. Let's listen to this for a second.
Kung gagamitin yung pondo para gumawa ng kalye, asan yung balik nun? Unless what you're telling me is that all infrastructure projects Maharlika will spend on will be a toll bridge or toll road para makabalik.
Whether it be power plants, whether it be airports, they can yield a good return.
All right, Senator Koko, can we get your quick reaction to this? Malabo pa ba rin sa ngayon kung paano kikita ang Maharlika Investment Fund? How will it generate revenue?
Tama po yun. Because they also mentioned the building of dams. So how will the owner or the concessionaire of the dam make sufficient return? Through usage fees, yung gagamit ng tubig. So will that be sufficient? So that's a very good question. And then the bill lists allowable investments. You don't tayo matakot because everything is there. From listed to unlisted stocks. Imagine mo, nasama pa yung unlisted stocks. Yung private transaction, private company. Pwede pa mag-invest si Maharlika Fund doon sa private company na hindi po ino-audit ng kasing higpit ng mga listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange. May real estate pa. Meron pang mga pwede pang magpautang or pwede din umutang. So, napakalabo kung paano ba kikita ito. Tsaka, I think a real investment banker or a real investment person will not make the claim that he will always make money. That person cannot guarantee that he will always make money. Lalo na guaranteeing that he will always make high returns or big bucks. Walang ganun. If you hear somebody selling you an investment with that kind of assurance, you better be careful because there's a saying, when it's too good to be true, it is not true.
Now, Senator, I want to talk about foreigners sitting as board members for the Maharlika Investment Corporation. Is this a good idea?
Oh well, that's. I think they are just following the corporation code. No, that it depends on the investment in the corporation. You allow the investor to have a proportional number of seats in the board of directors, which is the governing board. Pero yun na nga, I'm back to what I stated earlier. We are now too far away from the original proposal, even by President Bongbong Marcos, of the establishment of a sovereign wealth fund. This is no longer a sovereign wealth fund. This is actually more of a private corporation established by law. Therefore, we are doing this no longer to benefit the people, no longer to benefit the state, but to benefit the private investors because they have a special law. So why did we go out of our way, exerted all of the effort so that a super GOCC where there are private investors, including foreigners? Why? Hindi ba this could have been done through incorporation with the SEC, with the Securities and Exchange Commission? So, and then they are rushing it. Why? Who is this? Who are these unidentified private sector beneficiaries that we are rushing this for? Well, I do not understand. I do not really understand kasi nagbago na po ang layo-layo na. No one can claim that the final version is about a sovereign wealth fund. Hindi na po, private corporation na yan, na ginawa ng batas.
All right, sir. Still so many things to discuss regarding this matter. Now, the Senate bill also listed some of the allowable investments. But for Senator Risa Ontiveros, your colleague in the opposition, she says that the money could be used for social services rather than investment. Your thoughts on that?
No, the money that we will be spending, billions that we will be spending to capitalize the Maharlika Investment Corporation, in order for them, it would be better spent directly to the people through social services through the national budget. So I think that is our counter proposal, that there is a better use of the money that we are trying to use to capitalize the Maharlika Investment Corporation. Ang daming problema ng taong bayan eh. Kagutuman, inflation, trabaho, kahirapan, pabahay, kuryente, tubig, yan. Ang daming problema. So the Bangko, for example, the Bangko Central dividends, which normally go to the general fund so that the national government can spend it for services, including social services for the people, under the bill will be diverted to capitalize the Maharlika Investment Corporation. Oh, and then what will the corporation do with the money? It will be part of the funds. What will they do with the funds? Look for risky investments, isugal. So, ang layo na. Imbis na ginastos sa social services, sa ayuda, or sa mga pabahay, ay gagamitin na lang ng Maharlika Investment Fund para isugal.
So, Senator, paint for us a picture of the worst case scenario should the investment fund fail, and where would accountability fall on who?
Wala. Nothing, because an investment can fail because they can claim that it was a good faith and sound investment. So nothing. No one will get punished because sasabihin nila, well, that's the business cycle. You win some, you lose some. Unfortunately, we lost everything because the world economy is bad. It's in bad shape. It is not in good shape. So ngayon, pag yan tayo papasok, we are giving the perfect excuse for the fund managers to after a few years to come back to us to tell us that we lost everything because the world economy is in a downturn. There is no money to be made. We lost everything. So yan, ganun po ang mangyayari. So when we lose everything, this is now the problem, Ria and mga kababayan. Ito na ngayon ang problema. Nanggaling kasi ang pera sa mga bangko. Nanggaling yan sa Land Bank of the Philippines and sa Development Bank of the Philippines. And sa Central Bank, dividends sa Central Bank. But if we lose everything, yan ang nakakatakot. Will it now lead to the collapse of the Land Bank? Will it lead to the collapse of the Development Bank of the Philippines? Bank contagion. Yan na po ang ating babantayan. At actually, nangyayari na sa United States yan hanggang sa Switzerland. So, that is the state of the world economy. And all of a sudden, the Philippines wants to establish a sovereign wealth fund which has now mutated into a national investment fund.
All right, Senator, we thank you so much for giving us your side on this. We appreciate your time. That was Senate Minority Leader, Senator Koko Pimentel. After the break, we get an update on the Filipino cyclist who figured in a hit-and-run incident in Kuwait. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Ria Tanjuatco-Trillo.